Howdy doody.
Oh, howdy.
Howdy doody.
I doody very well this morning. Howdy.
Howdy doodlin.
Doodling very well.
Good.
You doodling all right?
I'm doodling all right. I am. The kids are off school, but
Yes. A
it's all right.
glorious time to behold.
I know. Do Americans have half terms, or do they just have like the summer vacation where they have the big break? Do they have like the random weeks off?
I don't know. Our kids seem to get a lot of time off, don't they?
Oh God, they're never at school. Never.
Which we enjoy.
Oh, I love it. Really love it. It's
We love it.
Great quality time with the kids.
Yeah. Well,
But they do need their education, so
yeah. What can we do? Lewis came to school with me. Came to work with me the other day. He was telling me spooky stories.
Was he?
Yeah, he's been listening to a podcast, and obviously he doesn't listen to this one. He's not old enough yet. But yeah, he was telling me like all these spooky stories and that, and the long and short of it was, I think he pretty much 100% believes in werewolves. And I was like, me too.
Right.
I was like, you wait till I tell you about Mothman. Mothman. Yeah. Mothman. But yeah,
cool.
he was like telling me all these stories and that, and I thought, that might be good actually one day to do like a kid-friendly scary stories one.
Maybe.
And I won't swear.
No, keep it clean.
Yep, keep it clean.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, today I thought we could do campfire ghost stories. And I feel like this is going to become a thing, and we could do campfire spooky stories, a campfire
witch stories.
Cryptid stories. Which are stories that people have. I mean, every story that we tell is somebody else's, but these are from the perspective of the person that have encountered these these entities.
Yeah, because a lot of these stories that we tell that are like, especially like the cryptid ones, it's really difficult to get it like from the source. You know, so it's normally like urban legends, isn't it? It's normally like, oh, it happened to like my aunt's cousins, brothers, cats, uncle. You never really know if it's true, if most of it's true, or if most of it's like, I see you doing well with your limiting yourself on biscuits there.
Well, if you've been keeping watch, for anybody that's watching, I had 2 cookies and 1 bourbon and 2 digestives. So
do my eyes deceive me, or did that bourbon go straight in whole?
No, your eyes do not deceive you.
No, I didn't think so.
That's what happened.
You're an animal.
But they're gone now, so.
Oh, well, I have got a quick apology to make, and I am so sorry to my poddy Sarah and to all our little pods all over the world. I honestly, our episode was uploaded so late this last week, and I completely apologize. I got it all done. I got it all ready to upload. Clicked on it and thought, yep, that'll upload. And then for some reason, I don't know whether it's that I've got a lot of anxiety lately or whether I've got menopause brain. I have no idea. I just thought, I'm so tired. I'm going to go sleep. And that was it. And I went to sleep. And then I got a message from Sarah saying, our pod was supposed to be out today. Is that right?
I was just like, so are we not having an episode this week now?
Just not going to bother, no?
No, just not going to bother, no? Just don't worry about
delete
it.
That. And I was like, oh my God, please don't say that I did. Either I didn't click it to upload, or I don't know. I have absolutely no memory. So
it was just apologies. A little bit late.
I am so sorry. It should have been uploaded. Normally I'll upload it for like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just do.
No, I upload it at because it's different all around the world, isn't it? Anyway,
yeah, so, exactly. Yeah, for people in America, it's going to be like uploaded on the, well, not everyone in America, but certainly where my sister lives, she's like 4 or 5 hours behind. So it's going to be uploaded at like midnight for her on the Monday. For other people, it'll be Monday evening. For other people, it'll be, I don't know,
Sunday.
Wednesday.
I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, we don't know. But yeah, I do apologise. It was a few hours late. And I uploaded it as quickly as I could, and I apologise.
Don't matter. Right. You know what's coming? Random blams, go.
Damn it.
Because our episode is about ghosties, I'm going to let everybody know that there is a ghost chicken that wanders around London.
Aww.
So it says it's believed that a ghost of part of a chicken wanders around Pond Square in Highgate.
Ooh.
And it says that in 1626, Sir Francis Bacon, which is funny,
I like it.
He wanted to test a theory that meat could be kept from going off by keeping it cold. So he stuffed a chicken with snow and then he then caught like pneumonia and died from doing that. But the chicken's
irony.
ghost is reported to have been seen flapping around the square.
When you say part of a chicken,
I don't know, it just says part.
Because I instantly, I don't know about everyone else, I just instantly had visions of like a drumstick.
Oh no.
Bouncing around.
I literally was like half a chicken, just like one leg, one wing flapping around.
That's rank.
Yeah. So yeah, ghost chicken. And apparently in the Tower of London, there's a ghost bear.
Oh.
Don't know any more information about that, but I'll try and find some. But yeah, apparently ghost bear.
Why don't we do an episode that's like England's weirdest ghosts?
All right.
We've done two of them.
That's the episode done.
That's it. Ta-da! Join us next week. Yeah, that's weird. I've got an animal related. It's not ghost related, but it's an animal related random blam.
All right.
Giraffes are 30 times more likely to be struck by lightning than people.
Oh, really? Why? Because of where they live, or like something to do with the actual giraffe?
No, it must be because the fact is giraffes as a general species are 30 times more likely. But it must be because of their height. It must be. Because I mean,
maybe.
Well, yeah, it must be because why giraffes? There's nothing else, I don't think, about giraffes that's different from like any other mammal other than their height. So that must be that their long heads are waggling around in the sky and the lightning's like, where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go? There. That's nearest.
Or do you think their horns are like antennas?
Maybe. Maybe. Yeah.
Well, all right, cool. Thank you. Round of blams.
Welcome.
Done. Shout out.
No.
We do have a shout out.
Yes.
So we've got another new subscriber. So thank you so much for joining out. Our little blammer group is just growing, and it's so great.
It is. It's growing fast now.
A little group of blammers. Now, our newest blammer, please forgive me if this is wrong, but it's either Blanca or Bianca. I can't tell whether it's an L or an I. But I think it's Blanca. If it's not.
Welcome, Blanca Bianca.
Yep. Thank you so much for joining
Let us know and we'll
do a correct shout out.
Yeah, we'll do a correct shout out on the next one. But yeah, Blanca Bianca, thank you. And welcome.
Joining now. Yeah, welcome to our little blammer crew.
Oh, we love that.
Morning indeed. I'm a little bit snotty this morning, so I'm a little bit like, I feel like my voice is a bit deep. Deep. It might just be because my ears are blocked, or I don't know.
We don't know.
I'm a little bit froggy.
Little bit froggy. If you got a drink.
Coffee and
Nice.
peach and raspberry squash.
How
about that?
Feeling tropical this morning.
Peach and raspberry. None of those are tropical.
Sorry, I meant fancy.
I see.
Yeah, it's not just your average juice, is it? It's not just like orange.
No.
What have you got? Beaner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have the hot Ribena? Over Christmas, Sainsbury's was doing a spiced Ribena, and you just have it with hot water. I've still got. We bought 2 bottles. I've still got a bottle left. Bottle and a half, I think. But it's not a squash, but you literally have it with hot water, and it's like a cinnamony type Ribena.
Ooh, I'd like that.
It's lovely.
I have something really similar all throughout the winter, but that's mulled wine.
Whiskey. Yeah.
Yeah. Mulled wine with a whiskey chaser. Nice.
It's a little bit like mulled wine, but without the burn.
I love things like that anyway. But yeah, Claire normally puts like hot water in just normal juice for like the kids anyway.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, hot squash. Love a hot squash.
Yeah.
Love it. Right, today's episode.
Yes.
Campfire ghost stories.
Ooh.
So these are all. So I'm not really a believer. Not really.
Well, I don't know. I think for doing this pod for more than a year now, I think you're probably more of a believer now than you were, because there's a lot of our stories that can't be explained.
I know. I am more of a believer, but I'm still like skeptic. I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
You'll be sorry when something presents itself to you, like Mothman.
No, I won't be sorry. I'll be like, oh, see, there it is all along.
You're telling me that if you go out to your car at night and Mothman suddenly goes boom and lands on your car roof and goes with his wings, that you'd go, oh, well, wouldn't you know it? You were real all along.
Who'd have thunk?
Yeah.
Yeah. A Mothman.
Yeah.
Something did shit on my car the other day. And it was like, I thought it was like a flying cow because it was massive.
Yeah.
Could have been Mothman.
Could have been. It could have been like disbeliever. We'll
plip,
see.
Plip, plip,
plip. Plip, plip. No.
So these are all ghost stories that people have encountered. And a lot of these stories start off with, I'd never believed in the paranormal. Never. And then it goes on to say, but this is what happened to me. And I feel like that's what's going to happen. So also, when I was researching for this episode, Josie was like, oh, I've got a ghost story about what happened to me in the flat. So she's going to write up her story about, because she used to live in a haunted house or flat or something like that. And they actually got someone round to perform like a ritual to cleanse the house. Yeah. Cool. So she's going to write her story on that. So I'm going to tell that when we do another campfire ghost stories. So that'll be a great one. Yeah, but for now, here goes. So these are, if you want to listen to these of an evening. Round a campfire, spooky ghost stories, have it dark, set the atmosphere.
Sounds good.
Get yourself right spooked. I'm going to scare myself. So this story didn't actually say who it came from, so I can't give credits to who it is. But my wife and I like to road trip in the Smoky Mountains. This trip, we'd visited the home of Sergeant York at Pall Mall, or is it Paul? I don't know how to pronounce that. That was very Essex. Pall Mall, Tennessee.
Pall Mall,
Pall Mall. And bought some wine at a local winery near there before going on to Gatlinburg late that night. Every hotel along the strip was full, and we were giving up hope when we came to the next to last one. We always fly by the seat of our pants on road trips, and I was beginning to think it backfired on us this time, and we would have to sleep miles out in a flea bag place. I was worried and tired. The River House Motor Lodge was just the other side of the Pigeon River. Lots of rooms. But when I went to the front desk, the high school looking young man said there was none left. I was defeated looking, I'm sure. As I turned to leave, he hesitantly said, well, there is one. Yes, anything, I told him. I was thinking it was some overpriced suite, but it was actually a decent price. He pulled the old-fashioned metal key down and gave it to me, and I was so relieved and happy to pay. Room 237 was on the top floor, a few rooms from the very end, and it was big, double queens, a huge fireplace, and a balcony. The decor was 1970s green shag carpet, Sears paintings, quilted coverlets. It looked like it'd never been updated since the place was built. It was great for a couple who teened in that period. We ate cheese and drank wine on the balcony to the gurgle of the river. We even fed the trout with crackers and left cheese on the rail for squirrels. But it was early November and cold, so we went inside to sit on the large flat stone hearth in front of the fire. One thing led to another, and we did what that hearth was likely made so large for. After one round there, we went to an...
Gusties.
After one round there, we went for another round on the bed. We loved each other very much and very passionately. 2 bottles of wine had made us drowsy, so it was only natural to fall asleep in each other's arms. Just as I was going under, I felt the bed sink behind me, and my wife crawl against my back to spoon me from behind. That she was ice cold. I could feel her nipples like cold nickels against my back.
Ooh.
What the fuck? I was almost asleep. Did she come in from the balcony? We'd both stopped smoking at that time, so there was no reason for her to be out there. I was annoyed and about to grumble about it when I realised she was sound asleep, warm and curled to my front. I was fully awake then and sitting up staring into the shadows of the room. That wasn't good enough, so I got up and checked under the beds and the bathroom, as well as the lock on the door and the balcony. What else could I do? It had to be a dream. One of those lucid things. I'd never had one, but I'd heard they seemed really real. After around 45 minutes of flickering firelight and wind noise outside, I drifted off to sleep again. I woke up an hour later, freezing. There was no cover on the bed. None. I looked to one side. Nothing. The other. Nothing. The end of the bed? Nothing. I couldn't have wakened in a Kansas cornfield and been more puzzled. It had to be somewhere. I got up and searched the room. Nothing. I went into the bathroom. Nothing. I looked behind the shower curtain. Nothing. I went over every corner and cabinet. I even unlocked and looked on the balcony and over the edge in case my wife had sleepwalked and thrown them over for some crazy reason. But nothing. All I could think to do was go back inside and take the covers off the other bed and use those. As I was walking to the bed, I noticed one corner of the comforter peeking from under the bed. It was stuffed under it. Why? My wife was solid asleep. I hadn't even been able to wake her to ask her about it. I covered the bed again and crawled back inside. I was concerned and made sure she was breathing okay. What else could I do but go back to sleep? It was 1 a.m. An hour later, I woke freezing again. This time, I knew where to look, but that didn't exactly make me feel better. It was as if I was hearing my thoughts and said, "Don't believe me the first time? How about now?" I got up and made the bed as tight as I could. Hospital corners, the works. You could bounce a quarter off it. I still recall basic training. I stood there and decided that wasn't enough. I built the fire to a roar and stood in front of it. Not knowing what else to do, I said these words aloud. "I know you are lonely, but I have to get some sleep. I'm sorry, but I'm tired. I wish you peace." Then I eased my way under the cover and slept the night undisturbed. The next morning, I told my wife about it. She was amazed she'd missed it all. There's a picture I took of her gleeful smile sitting on the bed. In the light of day, it was a funny story. I laughed too, but I tempered mine with how I felt that night in the darkened room, firelight playing over everything. She called down for breakfast to be sent up, and they told her nobody was supposed to be in that room. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh my God.
I know. Can you imagine like going to bed and waking up, the covers are gone and they're like hidden under the bed? There's no way they could have just fallen off.
Yeah.
It's like slipped
Properly
all the way
stuffed
under. Yeah, twice.
I mean, yeah, but the thing is, like, how many times have you ever slept in bed and the covers have gone off the bed altogether anyway? Do you know what I mean?
Never.
It's like, yeah, that never happens.
Yeah.
That's creepy AF.
Creepy AF.
Yeah. especially the fact that he felt her like curl up behind him
and a sink in the bed as well.
Yeah,
not about that. That's what in the Amityville, and the last night in that house, he said he was laying there and he felt something crawling up the bed and he could feel the depression of the mattress. No, thank you.
No, thank you.
I was about 13. I'd had experiences before, some were very intense, but this was the worst of them all. The house was terrifying, the air felt heavy and everything seemed darker than it should be. A lot of weird goings on happened. Such as my mum hearing my voice apparently screaming at my cat when I was at school, which I would never have done because she was an angel. The silverware clashing around, the drawer opening and slamming in, things like money disappearing and showing up again in strange places, or not at all. I noticed some red droplets on the floor next to the side of the bed I slept on, like bright red artery red. Never figured out what it was and couldn't get it out of the carpet. Once I was home alone, I saw with my own eyes a smoky white figure appear in the kitchen, just materialising out of nowhere. I sat there stunned and watched, and then it started moving. I ran, and I stayed out in the driveway until someone came home. But what really changed everything for me was one night I fell asleep on my back. I always slept with the telly on, or even the light on. I did not want to be caught alone in the dark. Pirates of the Caribbean 3 was playing, the music box in the intro before you press play. Usually it was calming. When I opened my eyes, there was a young woman hovering above me. She was very still, like she was standing. No expression on her face. She had pale white skin like porcelain, and she wore a sky blue dress with white lace in. It looked old. Very old. She had black hair a little longer than mine. I was sleep deprived at that point from being terrorised every night. My brain wasn't working correctly. I didn't even really register her. I just turned over on my side and fell back to sleep. The dream I had was horrifying. I was in the pitch black and I felt something made of pure malice, hate, and frankly evil in the room with me. I sat up and I started leaping toward my door. I didn't even get close. Suddenly, I opened my eyes and I was back in bed, in the dark. It kept going. I felt like I was fighting for my life to get to the door. Each time I would get closer. At some point, I opened my eyes, and she was standing next to my bed. I got a good look at her then. She didn't have the top half of her head. It wasn't gory, like you're probably imagining. From the nose up, it just faded into nothing. It simply wasn't there. Then she smiled at me. I can't describe what it was like, but that smile was the worst thing I've ever seen. Everything appeared normal on her face. Perhaps the smile was a bit stretched, but it was normal. It made my blood turn to ice because I could see the evil in it, and I was at her mercy. Somehow, she forced me back into the dream. Eventually, I got to the point where I touched the doorknob. When I finally woke up, it was early morning, maybe 6 a.m. The music box theme on the movie was still playing. The TV was still on. I was tortured that entire night. I ran out of my room, so I knew it was real. I was free. I was alive. Later, I described her incorrectly to my mum's boyfriend, who's sensitive to the paranormal. I said she didn't have eyes, and he said that he saw something similar, but it wasn't like she had black holes where her eyes should be. He said he saw a girl that he thought was me sitting at the end of their bed one night, but her head faded away. He rubbed his eyes and she was gone. I was shocked. Someone else saw her and they were telling the truth. The last experience was before I got really, really sick. A couple of days later, I was in the hospital with my second pulmonary embolism. I truly think I narrowly escaped something unimaginable. My mum, her boyfriend and I were sitting at the dining room table. I felt her presence materialise in another part of the house. That's never happened before or since. The chandelier above the table started swinging, not back and forth, but in a circle. We all stood up. I felt her coming closer. She'd showed up in their bathroom and she was coming through the room into the dining room. I had 2 cats at the time and they lost it. Fur raised, hissing, spitting. They took off into the bedroom. I felt her on the move. She came through the dining room, but I couldn't see anything. Nobody actually saw her, but I felt her. The cats chased her through the house, into the living room, then into the hallway to my room, then into my room. And when she entered my room, I felt that heavy presence disappear. The chandelier lost momentum. The cats let their guard down and came back into the dining room acting like nothing happened. I'll never forget it, ever. I have an intense phobia of the paranormal now, and I really think that I could have, I don't know, been taken by her. I have no idea what she was trying to do. A few days after this, I was hospitalised for 3 months. We lost the rental house and I never returned.
Ooh.
No, thank you.
I was gonna, the bit where you said, you know, and then she entered my room, I'd be like, not my room anymore.
Never sleeping in there again.
No.
Nope.
Definitely not.
Not even that. But it's weird that what she pictures was the same as what the other guy had said. Oh, I've seen something similar. She had a head that faded away into nothing.
I'm feeling a bit scared, so flaps are going down.
Flaps are going down.
Oh,
okay.
That's creepy. That is creepy. Because you don't know what their intentions are, do you?
No, not at all. No. And if you can feel this, because although I don't believe in the paranormal, I do believe that people have got auras about them. And you can tell from a person's aura, you know, what they're like. So I do believe that. I think you'd be able to tell if it was evil or not.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for like intuition, a vibe that you get. I know that's like a fairly sort of like banded around word now, isn't it? Like vibes, good vibes, bad vibes. But that is what it is, isn't it? It's like you get a vibe from someone or something.
Vibe. You got that vibe. Girl, she got that. I love when that happens. Such random songs come out.
Yeah.
Didn't even know I knew that.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Okay, this next story is from user background monitor 40.
Oh, welcome.
I've seen a lot of weird paranormal shit, but my father's house has always taken the cake for me. Usually, hauntings were minimal. The TV remote would relocate randomly, windows and cabinets would open, footsteps would sound through the hallways, there would occasionally be disembodied conversations on the front porch or in the laundry room. You never felt alone. The house was over a century old too, and was nestled away in a historic neighbourhood. I used to shrug it off as paranoia, insomnia, and nightmares. One day, my sister confronted me. She told me to stop knocking on the walls and door of her room. It was constant, knocking on the door, and then next to her head, on the door again, by her head again, back on the wall. And she was sick of me trying to convince her that the house was haunted, and at this point, she was freaked out as well. I had to then tell her it wasn't me. I wouldn't dare imitate the ghost, and I never left my room after dark. The hallway really freaked me out, so did the back of the house, so I limited my time in these spaces. She no longer asked me to stop knocking, but would instead come to my room when it started up again, and this went on for months, and this was mild. 2 nights stick with me. The first, I'm alone. It is late, and I've been up on the phone with a friend. We don't talk much and are in different time zones, so I was willing and ready to stay up late. I do have one rule though, one my mama taught me. Don't stay up past 3 a.m, especially in this house. It gets weird there at night. I realise it's about 3, and I tell my friend I have to go to bed, and they tease me for a bit. All is well and we part ways. The layout of my room is important. It's in the front of the house. It is connected to a long hallway that leads to the back of the house. From my bedroom door, I can see out the windows to the backyard. I can see everything down the long wooden hallway through the old keyhole in the door. I set my phone down. I get up to go turn the light switch off, and I pause. Something's coming down the hall, and it is loud. It sounds like Russian old metal wheels and dragging. It's coming down the hallway towards me. It sounds heavy, like a mine car or something else. I'm frozen and I stare out the keyhole. Nothing is there. Nothing is there. It gets closer and closer and slams into my door. The door budges open and shuts again. There's nothing there. There's nothing through the keyhole. I still have never heard a sound like that before. I slept with the lights on. Toward the end of my stay in this house, my sister had a friend over. It was nighttime and we were all watching something on our family's computer. We had a clear view of the front of the house and had all of the animals with us at the time, 2 dogs and a parrot. My sister's friend asked us if we had any Pop-Tarts left, and my sister replied, yeah, but they're in the basement and I don't really want to go down there. I agreed with her 100%. The basement was also unfinished and featured real dirt and earth and dust from its original construction. It made us uneasy and we never went down there after dark. This led to a series of teases and taunts from my sister's friend about how we were babies and about how ghosts weren't real. We tried to laugh it off but felt uneasy. We still weren't going down there, that was for sure. Her friend ends the statement with, "Ghosts aren't real." A minute or 2 passes and her friend looks up from the computer. Wasn't the light in the living room just on? We all freeze and look up. The light in the living room, the one our parents left on before they left, wasn't on anymore. Right as we notice, the light snaps back on and something starts walking down the hallway. Storming, rather, and these footsteps are quick and deliberate. The dogs freeze, hair standing up on the back of their necks. The bird's eyes are wide and he's standing in the corner of his cage. My sister and her friend grab each other and we all find ourselves cowering in the corner of the room. There was no time for "we told you not to mess with it" comments that night. Only fear. Thankfully, we moved out about 2 weeks later, but this had gone on for about 10 years. Nope. I've never experienced like footsteps or any sort of like banging or knocking or, you know, just anything. I've never experienced any sort of...
I wouldn't notice in this house because everything that you described is Claire. Stomping down the corridor.
Mine carting it down the hallway.
Yeah. Like randomly turning lights on and off and leaving cupboard doors open, things not where you left them.
Yeah.
But all like, symptoms of Claire. They've got a
that
Claire
guy,
in the house.
Yeah. That guy said he heard something coming down the hallway and it was like heavy and metal, like wheels.
Yeah.
That you can't have like ghost carts. I draw the line at ghost automobiles. That's not...
No, because I think there's something about like ghosties that's like memories relived. You know, like things that they did maybe in their life and they're doing it all over again.
Yeah, we said about that in the Villisca Axe murder, didn't we? That they were kind of stuck in a loop replaying that night. However, I just don't think you can emulate, like, if it is a ghost and it's getting stuck or whatever, the sound of a minecart or something like that. Because if we look into what everybody believes a ghost is, you believe it's the soul of a person. So that you wouldn't then be able to apply that.
Yeah, but that's 2 different things, isn't it? It's either like the soul of a person or it's a memory that's replayed. Like
if it's a memory, it doesn't come with like sound effects and stuff.
No, not so much a memory, but a scene that's being like replayed. It might not be someone's soul. It might be a different dimension that's stuck in a loop. There's a glitch. I mean, we don't know. No. I mean, you can't just have the person that's replayed or relived, because what if it's someone that's got an axe and they come back and they've got an axe? If they can have an axe, they can have a minecart or an old hospital wheelchair.
I draw the line at ghosts having equipment. I draw the line. Like if a ghost is going to be present, then it's the ghostly form, you know, and then...
Yeah, but what if it's not actually a ghost? What if it is just like a glitch and we're sort of seeing behind the curtain, and it's something that happened
see
from
what it's saying
years ago or something.
Yeah. Don't know. This is why I don't fully believe, because I don't understand it. So if we're saying the ghost is the soul of a person, and that's kind of, I don't think
that's what we're like.
Yeah,
that's what we're saying, hard and fast.
If
that's what it is.
No, I know, but that's what generally people believe, isn't it?
Know.
But if it's like a different dimension coming through, then and we're just getting kind of a small glimpse of what's happening, then that makes a little bit more sense. Yeah, because that is actually happening somewhere, and you're just kind of there's a small pathway to what is actually happening. That makes a little bit more sense to me. But ghosties coming back with like knocking on doors when they haven't got hands.
Yeah.
Or like footprints when they ain't got feet.
Could be like an echo of something, like something that's like repeated. You know, like if you go to like a canyon and you go, hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
You're not actually making that sound anymore, but yet you can still hear it.
All right, yeah. That's a good point. Good argument.
All right, let's end on a positive. Go.
Yeah, well, this is our last story.
Ooh.
So our last spooky story comes from Left Bother 9527.
Oh, okay.
I've experienced a lot of paranormal things in my life, starting from a young age. What I'm going to write here is the most horrifying experience I've had to date. Every time I tell others what happened, I tear up and get goosebumps. It scares me to this day. In 2012, I lived in a small 2-bedroom apartment in Tucson, Arizona.
Tucson.
That's hilarious. Tucson.
In Toucan, Arizona.
That's how it was going to come out, yeah. Toucan. All right. Was it Tucson?
Tucson.
I actually was going to say I might not be Arizona. It just says AZ, and I took that to mean Arizona, yeah. Okay. My oldest daughter was 3.5, and we had a newborn that slept with us in our room. My oldest slept in her own room next to us. My ex-wife and I were starting to get into crystals and energies and other spiritual rituals. Being novices and not ready and researching enough before we started trying things was definitely a bad idea, and I will not be touching stuff like this again. That being said, my daughter used to play with this little girl that lived in the apartment right below us. One day, her dad came to our apartment to pick her up. He took one step into our doorway and asked if we have ever saged our place before. I told him we hadn't, and he highly recommended that we do it, and ASAP, because he felt something heavy looming in our place, and that he doesn't feel comfortable with his daughter playing in our apartment until he felt that heaviness lifted. That made us feel a little uneasy, and we decided we'd go ahead and buy some sage. Well, time went on, and we kind of forgot about it. A couple weeks after the girl's dad recommended saging is when things went bad. My daughter wakes up around 2 a.m. and comes into our room crying and shaking, telling us she hears children laughing in her room and calling out her name. Me, being the parent that I was, trying to rationalise things waking up at 2 a.m, tells her she probably was dreaming and woke up from it. I told her I'd go lay in her bed with her until she fell asleep. We're laying there for not even 2 minutes, and I start hearing a faint laughter. Kind of freaking out in my mind, I once again try and rationalise that there's kids outside. But why at 2 a.m? My daughter looked at me because she knew I'd heard it. So I went to the window to look out and see if there was anyone outside. Nothing. Not one person in the parking lot. I get back into her bed and tell her it may be the neighbours downstairs or on the other side of us. No sooner do I say that, trying to comfort my daughter, the closet door kind of knocks. I once again try and rationalise with my daughter that I may have hit it when I was laying there. She's got a toddler-sized bed and my legs didn't fit in it. The moment I finished that sentence to her, I shit you fucking not, her whole bed shifted with us in at least a foot away from where it normally sits. I shot up quickly, calling my wife to grab our youngest. Put shoes on, we're leaving. But that's not all. There's more. We get in our car and start driving to the freeway. We were right off a main street that leads directly to the I-10. This street has streetlights on both sides of the street. Everything was lit when we were driving on it. At the same time, I'm calling my mum that lives up in Golba, about an hour and 15 away, and told her we were on our way. She talked me down a little bit and said to go to a hotel for the night, and we could figure it out in the morning. I agreed and decided to head back to the apartment to grab my wallet because I left it in a panic. On our way back, not even 10 minutes later on the same street, we drive on to the I-10 on that's normally well lit. Everything was dark, not a single street lamp was lit. It was all too eerie. Both my wife and I noticed how bizarre it was. As I'm driving back round a curve, I had to swerve because I swear to God, everything I've been telling you is absolutely 100% true and happened exactly as I'm telling it. Our couch was in the middle of the fucking road. I almost wrecked because everything was so dark and I never see it. I finally made it back to the apartment, shaking in pure terror, grabbed my wallet, got to a hotel, and 2 weeks later, we moved.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure I'd be happy about seeing you. Why would they need to move the sofa to the road? Just
No
to shit you
idea.
up.
I mean, that'd be well inconvenient though, wouldn't it? Especially
Yeah.
over here. I mean, less likely to be raining over there. I mean, as I look out the window, it's chucking it down. But in Arizona, obviously, they don't have as much rain. But I mean, can you imagine? You'd be like, for God's sake.
That's the heck. How are we gonna get that back?
Oh God!
It's like
now I've
when
got to
it was
move a whole sofa into the living house.
Yeah. When it was really windy one time, our trampoline took up, like it flew up over the fence into next door's garden. And I was thinking, how the fuck am I going to get that back?
Yeah. Our gazebo did that
For
once
God's sake.
at Claire's mum's.
Yeah.
We had the gazebo in the back garden.
Oh, I remember it.
It literally lifted it up,
Yeah.
flew it over the top of the house, and it landed in the front garden. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, now I've got to try and get it back into the back garden. I was like, oh.
Or was it a ghost?
Who knows?
Who knows?
I mean, there was hurricane winds, but
yeah,
may not have been that.
Could have been the ghost.
Could have been.
Waiting for an opportunity.
I mean, I'm not taking the mick out of any ghosts that are listening because you don't need to prove yourself to me. When I'm feeling a little bit less sensitive about what happens, like obviously losing my dad, I will tell you a story that happened right after we lost dad. But I can't say it at the moment. But yeah, I'll tell you, and honestly, you'll have a hard time explaining it.
I know. I think Claire told me, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
I think she told me. Yeah.
Because obviously, like Claire was there.
Yeah.
I can't. Crazy. I still can't. I've really, really tried as well because I thought I don't want to believe something just because I'm sad.
Yeah.
But honestly, I've tried with Claire. I've said to her, "Is there any way that you can offer like an explanation?"
Yeah.
She was like,
"Nope,
nope."
Nope.
For all our listeners, it was basically 5 minutes after we lost dad. And a medium friend of my sister's texted my sister and said, your dad, I'm sorry about, the loss of your dad or the passing of your dad. And we were like, we haven't told anyone yet. And she said, your dad has just said this, this, and this. And it basically repeated something that I had just said.
Yeah, conversations that were going on.
Yeah, and he was like, she said, and it's Sue, it's one of our listeners. She's amazing, and she said, your dad just said what Kate said he thought was really funny, and I was like, oh my God, but it was specific to the conversation, and I can't
explain that away.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
Because it was
that's
just
really strange.
very, very specific. And I was like, I don't know. I'm open to it. To it. But
what a great, if that is the case, then how great is that? How great is that he's up there?
Exactly. Yeah.
How great would that be?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a strange thing to try and get your head around because you don't know if you're believing because you want to believe, because
Yeah.
you need that comfort. Yeah, don't know.
Don't know.
Don't know.
But yeah, that's the end of our campfire ghost stories.
Well, that was great. I do feel a little bit freaked out though, so I'm going to have to go upstairs and make sure that everyone's with me and awake. The kids are going to be like, "Oh, I'm still tired. It's half term. I'm allowed to sleep until midday," and I'll be like, "Nope, not today."
Nope. Yeah. Well,
that's great.
Yep.
Thanks for that.
No, you're welcome.
Can I just ask though, do you believe any of these that you've just told us?
I don't know. It's not that I don't believe them. I think they're good stories. I think, oh, that's cool. But I don't really actually pay too much attention to them. But like the SETI one, he sounds genuine because he's like, I swear to God, this actually happened. But what, like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, if my nan and granddad are up there, why they would, or even just any spirit, why would they move the sofa out of the house and into the road? Like, it just logically doesn't make any sense to me. I understand if like there'd be evil spirits there and they were trying to cause them harm or something, but just to move the sofa out.
Maybe it was like the ghost of someone who like died in a house fire or something like that.
Used to move furniture.
Yeah, furniture
removal. Moving out, I see. Let me give you a hand.
Yeah. I don't know.
It doesn't make sense to me. Like, I've always thought, like, when I went to that medium, I really, really wanted to speak to my nan and granddad. I really, really did. And when the medium came to me and said, your granddad said this, your granddad said that, I just think if my granddad could say something to me, he wouldn't say all of that.
Yeah.
He wouldn't say what she'd said that he'd said. Yeah. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, if they've got an opportunity to come down and say something, then they'd do it. Yeah, why say that? Like, she was saying about like she was reeling off sentences. Oh, your granddad's saying this, and he's saying you're going to go to London, and he's saying this, and blah 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 blah. And then when she was trying to get a name of somebody connected to me, she was going S. Speak up, I can't hear you. And I think if you can just reel off a whole bloody soliloquy of what my granddad's been saying, surely you can get a name. Yeah, I know, because I'm pissed off now. Just remember that. Just remember how annoyed I was at that. But yeah, so at the moment, no, I don't believe it, because it logically it doesn't make sense to me that if people are spirits and they do come back and they can hear and see you and, you know, keep in touch and whatever, and why leave cryptic messages? If you can leave a message on the window in the fog, why leave such a cryptic message? Why not just put, hi Sarah, it's granddad, instead of just drawing like a fucking you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do. I do understand what you're saying. I think there are good mediums, and I think there are people that aren't mediums that maybe think they are, or they're trying to be. And it's, you never know which is which, or, you know, I think for me it has to be very specific. If and I think that's true for a lot of people, the message would have to be very specific. The short message that I got from Sue, or me and Tess got from Sue, after Dad passed, was very specific, word for word specific. And this was 60 seconds after I'd said it. I wish. And it's like,
Sue, hit me up. come to me with some sort of
she's so great. She's just the most amazing.
If you can make me a believer, then I would be eternally grateful, because I'd love to believe that, you know, my nan and granddad are up there, and I'd absolutely love to believe it. I've never coming. I've never had any proof that that's true.
Yeah, I mean, Sue, she's very good. She says sometimes
there's nothing.
You know, sometimes I'll get things that pop in my head, and I think I don't know what that means. She said it gets very difficult because it's more of a, not like hearing it as such, but more of a thought pops in your head, and it's kind of
sifting through.
It doesn't really make much sense. So sometimes she'll sort of decipher it, and then other times she won't. She'll just say it as it is, and people sort of go, no, it doesn't make any sense to me. But it could be that she's kind of tried to put it into something that makes sense, and it shouldn't have been. It should have just been, you know, the sort of bollocks side of it would have actually made more sense to that person. But
to that person, yeah,
I don't know. I think I'm gonna do, or I think maybe the two of us should get together and do a future episode that's like the investigation of ghosts. And I think we should try and decipher what these things are.
Cool.
Solve it after all these years.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, right.
You'll hear it here first, people.
Okay, well, we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah. Cheers, dude.
Cheers.
See y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.
If you have enjoyed listening to our episodes, make sure you rate us and leave us a review on whatever platform you are listening.
We absolutely love hearing from you guys. So you can also help support our show by donating to our Buy Me a Coffee link. We will make sure that you get a massive shout out and a big thank you in our next week's episode.
You can also follow us on social media at Perplexed Podcasts. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and if you want to see more videos and blooper reels, subscribe to our TikTok and YouTube channels.
You can also email us your stories at perplexedpodcasts@gmail.com.
And you can find all the relevant links in the episode descriptions. Thanks for listening. Bye.